Yeah. Yeah.
There's something about the empiricalness of being a black person and being an educator that makes a big difference. And there's a way that black educators can relate to a black child
to make the experience a negative one that students want to avoid, but also the ways in which the students themselves have started to experience school as something learning is something they want to avoid, right? And you have to find ways to make it a more positive experience for them because that has shaped their identity.
My first African American teacher was in college, and there still weren't many there either. But and I made it okay, but I believe I made it okay because I had a strong family support. And so, you know, one way to offset the predominance of majority teachers is to have a very strong support system, whether at home or in the community. Everyone doesn't have that, however.
And as a black male and a father of a 3-year-old or 3.5-year-old that's in school, you mentioned quite a number of things during the panel discussion. How we're going to hone in, and I'm going to ask you specifically, as a black male, how are we going to close this achievement gap for black male students, from your perspective?
I think, first of all, people have to expect more of themselves than others. By that I mean we have to do things at home, in our schools, in our community organizations, and not always rely on the educational institutions to make up for what we're not doing. That's number one. But number two, also, educational opportunities exist and schools exist, and therefore our children are spending a lot of time there. We have to be participating in school boards and making sure that our kids are heard and their needs are heard, that they're getting proper meals, that they're getting opportunities after school. So we have to be participating not just at home, also in schools, and to be activists and advocates of what we need for our children.
It's a natural human tendency to disassociate yourself from any activity that you experience failure in, right? So what ends up happening, so if you're not good at something, you just say, that's not for me, I'm going to invest in something else. So for example, if you don't like to dance, you just stay away from dances, right? You don't like to swim, stay away from the beach, right? You don't like school, stay away from school, right? Doesn't mean I'm going to feel bad about myself because I'm actually pretty good at fighting, right? Or I'm really good at rapping, or I'm really good at ball. So think about all these athletes who are graduating from school, who are barely literate, but they're feeling real good about themselves because they're getting lots and lots of other affirmation. You're a ball player, right? Or you're a player, or you're whatever. You know, that is that there are other domains that they draw to. Now it doesn't mean that once they put back in the context of school, then all that other stuff still hits them, right? Because that's the place where failure is. But what they're doing psychologically to buffer from that is to find ways to disassociate, right, from where you experience failure. So just like people don't like to dance, they don't go to the parties, right? They're not going to be there because that's an uncomfortable experience. And that's the same kind of thing we're seeing with a lot of our kids. And the sad thing is it happens very early, right? Because if you start to experience that negative reaction in school, and school becomes the place where you experience failure, you just start checking out. And what do our schools do? Our schools facilitate that.
And you have a long history of research around educating Black and Latino students, and specifically Black males and Latino males. Can you tell us a little bit what some of your research